Greeting YouTube. I was born as part of the TV generation. I grew up watching a lot of television. As long as I can remember, when I was a kid, my family had cable TV. I wasn't even aware that there was such a thing as aerial television. And as I got older, my family was one of the first people to adopt MTV, back when they only showed 4 hours of videos and then just blank space for the rest of the time. And I was one of the first adopters of HBO, and it was the first and only premium channel. But due to budgetary restraints, I am now a person that has no pay channels of any kind and just have basic cable, which means I have about 12 channels and about 3 of them I care about. But back when we had the Comedy Network, my wife discovered the television series Scrubs, and she became a big fan, and I would watch it with her occasionally. It never became something that I watched every single episode that was on. But she really became a fan. And so 2 years ago, I bought her the first 4 seasons of Scrubs for a Yule gift. I got a really good deal. I got 4 seasons for $60. And we have now collected the 5th, 6th, and 7th, though we have not got around to watching the 6th and 7th. And it occurred to my wife recently that I had never actually watched the entire series. So we began watching Scrubs, the first season. And we have just finished the 3rd season last night, and we'll be starting the 4th season the next time we decide to sit down at television. And I know it's a little unusual. I don't think I've ever actually reviewed a television series before, but I really like this show. It hits a sweet spot for me in the same vein that MASH did. MASH was a serious show that had some comedic elements, and this, Scrubs, is a comedic show that has some serious elements, kind of the opposite. But the acting is good. The writing is some of the best I've seen on television. The characters are endearing. Of course, they're attractive. Even the main character, Zach Braff, who's kind of goofy, he still is always shown as being attracted to women because of who he is, not necessarily purely of what he appears as. And it really has a grasp of the real world to me, even though it's a sitcom, because you're listening to the characters' internal dialogue a great deal of the time. And we all have those internal dialogues. I have them constantly. I practice my videos at work. I run a press in a factory. Heck, a lot of the time I practice them out loud because I'm working by myself. I'm literally the only person within 30 feet of me next to a machine that makes lots of noise. Who cares if I talk out loud? So those internal dialogues are something that we all carry with us. And this show takes advantage of those internal dialogues and shows how our days are impacted about how we observe what we're doing, how we don't observe what we're doing, how we're wrapped up in ourselves and not paying attention to the world around us. And because this series takes place in a hospital, you also have pathos, you have drama thrown in, you have life and death situations along with comedic elements. And they do musical numbers occasionally, pure absolute skit comedy, interactions between people, and realistically, you will never spend this much time with people doing goofy things. However, over the course of your career, you'll do some goofy things. This show just condenses them down to a convenient 24-minute segment so that you can see them all at once. It's entertaining, it's light, and yet it still has some dramatic aspects to it. And there was an episode in the 3rd season which deals with the death of one of the supporting characters, not one of the main characters. And it was, quite frankly, some of the flat-out best writing I've seen on television. It just nailed our inability to cope with death and how we bargain with it and how we try to ignore it, and we can't. And then we have to deal with it whether we want to or not. So I definitely like this series, and if you enjoy sitcoms that are intelligent, that have other than just pure guffaws, I definitely recommend Scrubs. It's a good time, and I look forward to seeing the 6th and 7th season, which I haven't watched yet.